Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Junde. Today I will explain introduction about Islamic finance in Algeria. Islamic finance is an investment in use money as a source of economic development to make money. In the Algeria government launched Islamic banking as an experiment to expand it year by year to encourage people and commercial traders to deal with Islamic financial products. Algeria was a new entrant in Islamic banking and finance and would soon accelerate its development.
Population is high in north of Algeria. It has 19% Muslim population. Bank al-Salam operate over 15 branches, and 7 of them in Algeria region. Bank al-Baraka has over 29 branches, over 40% of them in Algeria region. And then last, Trust Bank operates with 30 agents, but has less than 15 branches. Is my part. Thank you.
I'm Rawaha Khalid Baig. Let me present to you various Islamic products available in Algeria. There are 3 major banks that offer Islamic banking products. First, let's explore As-Salam Bank Algeria. This bank offers As-Salam Istismar, As-Salam Ijar, As-Salam Taysir, Omniyati. Next is Al-Baraka Bank Algeria. This bank offers Idkar Al-Baraka, Murabaha account and other Ijar and Murabaha products. And at last, Trust Bank Algeria offers Trust Ijar, Salam Financing, Tawfir Participative.
Okay. I am ABDURRAHMAN, and I will be talking about the trends and patterns of Islamic finance in Algeria. The first thing that we'll be focusing on are the reasons for its success. The first of it being the inclusion of highly developed technology in the banks and the digitalization of it in a secure manner. Secondly, training experts in the field of Islamic finance, learning and benefiting from Islamic banks at the global level, and allowing Islamic banks to invest internationally. Moving on, we'll be looking at a few graphs that illustrate the success of Islamic banks in Algeria. These are graphs of financial indicators of Al-Baraka Bank over the last 5 years, and as it can be seen, there is an upward trend in almost every single category. Moving on, this is a summarized version of the information that was shown on the charts for further detail. That's it about trends and patterns in the Islamic finance industry in Algeria. The next thing that we'll be discussing are the governing laws in Algeria with regards to Islamic finance, and for that we'll be going through a short timeline, starting off with the independence of Algeria, which they received in 1962. 30 years later, the first Islamic bank was established, Bank Al-Baraka, in 1991. And in 2008, the second Islamic bank, Bank Al-Salam, was established at the same time when the world economic crisis occurred, and which showed all the problems of commercial banking. However, it was only in 2018 when the government introduced the first Act number 1802, which provided a loose framework for Islamic finance based on Sharia, but this was still not very comprehensive. And 2 years later, in 2020, they released another act called Act number 2002, which provided a comprehensive framework on all matters of Islamic finance. And it also set up a board which was responsible for supervising any Islamic financial institutions that sought to practice in Algeria.
I'm Adam, and I'll talk about some of the contemporary issues with Islamic banking and finance in Algeria. So the first issue that we've found is actually the delay of opening Islamic banks in Algeria. The first doors to Islamic banks worldwide were open in the early 1950s. However, in the case of Algeria, it wasn't until the early 1990s, as mentioned earlier, that the first Islamic banks were open. And this has caused kind of a delay, and Algeria has to catch up in the Islamic banking financial markets. That we found is skepticism. Investors and market users are skeptical on the Sharia compliance of the products offered by these Islamic banks. And again, they're newer than most other banks, but another point is that there hasn't been much government intervention in terms of the legality of these products. And as mentioned earlier, it wasn't until 2018 and again in 2020 where the government had released statements about the legality of these products. Lastly, we'll mention is that the last challenge is that there's no holistic Islamic financial market. In fact, only about 1% of the banking transactions in Algeria are in the Islamic banking sector. So hopefully this is something that will increase over time, but as of now, it's only 1%.
As my partner mentioned all the information above, so we can conclude that Islamic finance in Algeria is still relatively underdeveloped due to a plethora of reasons. Secondly, good investment strategy allows the bank to increase its income. Lastly, Algeria is a new entry to the Islamic banking, and so we have been the piece of development. Thank you for watching. That was our presentation. Jazakallah khair.